Guys, welcome. My name is Jack. I'm the co-founder of scanjunkie.com. And in this video, I wanted to tell you guys a story of my first business, my first two businesses really, eBay related, 6 or 7 years ago, how I got started, and basically just to tell you guys the story of how I begun in business and on eBay and how you can do the same, basically. So really just to give a little background on myself so you can get to know me more and really see how possible it is to get started with something like retail arbitrage and actually make something of it. Because there's a lot of advice online for making money. Everyone says drop shipping, SMMA, all of these kind of things. And sure, all of them work if you put your mind to it. But there's a lot of clickbait out there. There's a lot of false information, a lot of people trying to upsell you on a course. I'm not trying to sell you on anything here. Like, I want you to sign up to our app. Yes, it's also free, but I want to give you a story, right? Tell you the story of how I got started and how you can actually go and do the same. So I'm not going to pitch you on some £5,000 course or anything like that. I'm going to sit here and give you my experience with the business, the ins and outs, the ups, the downs. Everything's documented from back in the day as well. So you can actually get to know me a bit more and see. So just for context as well, I'm going to do this in one shot. This is how I like doing my videos in this format. I don't really like editing these together and cutting things out. So you're going to get it raw, straight from the source. This entire script that you're seeing on the screen right now, I recorded that on the Apple Voice Notes app. So that's what I like to do, pace around and just talk into the phone. So really, you're going to get it pretty much exactly as it was transcribed by myself, just in a written format, so you can kind of follow along. So let's begin. This is how I quit my job and left my parents' house at 20 years old through eBay retail arbitrage. So again, my name's Jack, 27 years old from the UK, and now you understand the meaning of this video. So my first business was eBay dropshipping. I was 19 years old, and at the time I was doing an apprenticeship, doing IT admin. It was meant to be like software development, web development, but it never really progressed down that route, and it was very boring. So I'd been there for like 2 or 3 years at the time. And 3 months in, like the first 3 months was fine. It was like my first proper job, if you want to call it that. Like, yeah, it was okay. Didn't make much money. But after 3 months, I knew like this wasn't for me. And that feeling just kept creeping in. And by this point in the story, I've been doing it for 2 or 3 years. Like I say, I knew I just couldn't keep putting on that same suit every day. And like it was pointless. I'm sat inside this big office with a suit on for no reason, typing on a keyboard. Like it was just completely backwards. And I was getting paid less than £1,000 a month. Like, sure, it was an apprenticeship, fine. It was a way in, but I knew there was no long-term potential with that. I just knew. And even if there was, even if they were paying me £10,000 a month, I'm just the type of person, I can't sit in an office under someone else's command. Like I just can't. I have to be doing my own thing. I can sit at my own desk, do my own thing. But I knew at that point, very early on, literally like 7 years ago, I couldn't do that. It's just not me, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that as well. So this really is where I started dabbling with eBay dropshipping. So this was like probably mid 2019, so a long time ago, using tools like Zeek Analytics and stuff like that. And it was doing okay. Like I'd work on my listings whilst I was at the job. Any spare time that I had, I would put into that. And if they sent me on a training course, I'd take advantage of that as well. I remember I had on Twitter like a small following at the time, and I would actually sell for like $5 a list of trending products for eBay dropshipping. So that was like a little side hustle that I built alongside that as well. Just goes to show like there really is money everywhere. Like it was a very small amount, but just getting that taste of, first of all, the first products selling on eBay with drop shipping, that was great. By the way, that business model doesn't work anymore, so it's not worth your time looking into that. But then the other part, selling the $5 trending products, like it was a good taste of what was to come, and it opened my eyes to see, okay, I can actually make some money online where I'm not tied to my job. So it was great. Like it was a good eye opener. But like I said, the margins were thin. You had to rely on credit cards to source the products because I didn't have much money because obviously I'm getting paid less than £1,000 a month. Um, yeah, so being 19 years old, I had a very small credit limit, and it just felt like I couldn't actually escape the job, no matter how hard I was trying. Then it almost seemed, I say miracle, it did seem like a miracle. It kind of seemed to happen. I'm sure you remember March 2020 lockdown. So it was like November, December 2019, they started talking about this virus. I don't know if you guys remember. But then the lockdowns happened at like the end of March, and they told us straight away we had to start working from home. Um, Ironic because I asked multiple times before, and they never ever allowed it. But that's a whole different story. So really, at that point, I had two choices, right? So I've been in the office for 3 years. I'm at home. What do I do? Do I sit around, play some games? I kind of enjoyed it at the time. Battlefield 4, bit of COD, sit there, waste time. Sure, I did that for like the first day. I remember I had Modern Warfare 2, the remastered version campaign. So I played that and I thought, you know what? No, it's time to actually try and make something out of this downtime and out of myself, really. I was very active on Twitter at the time. I was in a bunch of e-commerce groups and communities. They were talking about this and that. Some people had their own brands, some people doing retail arbitrage. And I remember there was this one guy, Joe Hart, shout out to him, from America. Really, really good guy, genuine person. He was the one that got me into this. So he had just started a group called Products for Profit, and it was US based. I think it had been around for like, I don't know, 3 weeks or a month, less than a month. And it was just people in America. They were going to retail stores, right? As you've seen me and Scott do on our YouTube, still a thing. They would go to the store, buy a product, and sell it on eBay. Really, really simple. And the margins were way more than drop shipping was producing. So I would do like Amazon to eBay. So the margins were way thinner. But with the retail operation, the margins were way, way bigger. So that's what caught my attention. $49 a month, and I pulled the trigger. So I remember distinctly sat in the sun in my old car down by the water near where I live in my old Skoda 2002. It's a Skoda Fabia. It was actually my grandma's car. So yeah, it was a great little car. And I remember one of the doors didn't lock properly, and the windows were wind down. But yeah, great times. So I was trying to keep active at the time because obviously all the gyms were closed. It was kind of rotting my brain a little bit. It was getting to my head because I like to train. So I've been doing some hill sprints down by this hill by the water. It was lovely, beautiful summer. At that time, it was spring, but I'm sure you remember that time of life was really good. Like it was really sunny, really hot. It was a great summer. Anyway, so I opened up the group Products for Profit on my old Huawei P20 Pro at the time, and everyone was making money on cleaning products and Easter eggs. So Easter was right around the corner, but it was these two items that I remember distinctly people were making decent money on. Like it was okay. So I thought if I can just try and get a slice of the action, like maybe it will work in the UK. Obviously, this was all in America at the time. And they were making, I don't know, $5 here, six here, 10 there. Like it was okay. So I thought, let's try it. And I drove straight to Tesco, just around the corner, and I picked up like some bleach, floor cleaner, detergent, antibacterial sprays. All of this is on my old Twitter, by the way. So I'm going to throw some pictures of some Twitter threads in as well, some screenshots, because I find it quite funny looking back on this as well. I used to troll people on Twitter as well with this stuff, but it was good fun. So it's all documented because at the time, everyone was panicking about COVID, right? So they all thought, oh, we need to disinfect this, disinfect that. The whole house needs to be sanitized. And so you could capitalize on this. You could buy them and sell them for stupid amounts of money, really. Now, back then, there was no app to actually scan barcodes to figure out like what to actually sell. So you had to filter by sold listings on eBay and try to guess. So it was a bit of a cumbersome experience. Luckily, I had the group where these guys would tell me what they were selling for. And I was like, I think the only person from the UK in the group at the time. So I was almost pioneering it from the UK side and really just experimenting. Like I say, the group had only been active for like a week or two, maybe around a month. So anyway, I get the cleaning supplies back at the house, took some pictures in my old bedroom on the Huawei, basic standard pictures, and get them listed on eBay. It was nothing special, just like decent keywords in the title, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a separate video on that because it's kind of changed now, but there's a lot of things you can do to make your listing stand out. So back then, I made sure to hit that checklist and get them as good as I could listed on my store. And then the same day, they start selling. So you got £5 profit here, six there, three there. Some of them was £10 profit, and it was good. Like I started realizing at that point, okay, I'm making pretty much 10 times the amount per item than I was drop shipping. We should probably stick to this. And that's when the the fairy liquid moment happened. So I got two bottles of fairy liquid, like 90p each, £1.80 for the pair, and I sold the two for like 14.99. It was around about these prices. It was this kind of difference. It was insane. So like after shipping and fees, like 11 to £12 profit, maybe 10. Call it what you want, but it's still insane that you could just go and do that basically. So I was mind blown. And even now, like that is pretty cool. If you can find a product like that and sell even one or two, you get a 5-pack, who knows, and you make over a tenner, it's great. The same way that when we're out in the shops, as you've seen in our sourcing videos, and we find products like that, like it's exciting. And it's because you know that you can just take them and it's just free money, right? So naturally, I went back, bought more. Same with Easter eggs. Went to Asda, filled up the trolley. I distinctly remember a trolley full of Easter eggs. And I remember I get to the checkout, and the lady at the checkout asked me if I'm doing an Easter egg hunt. I lied. I said, "Yeah, it's just putting something nice on for the kids." Obviously, I'm 20 years old, no kids, but I had to justify it somehow as to why I had so many, or maybe I was just addicted to them. Anyway, I was doing 2 packs. They were like £1 each, sold for like £15 a pair or £8. I can't remember exactly, but it was a good amount of profit. They were very light, so they were very easy to ship. It had to be same day, so they didn't melt. You had to get them out fast, but it was good. I had a good efficient, and obviously no one wanted to leave the house at the time, so the opportunity was massive. But that isn't to say the opportunity has gone. Like it's still very much an active and thriving business model. And at this point, I did feel like Pablo Escobar because I had bags of flour that I was getting 50p. They were going for £25. This is no exaggeration. They did get banned very, very quickly because, well, eBay said we were taking advantage of a certain situation. So you can make of that what you will. But either way, I was making money. I was extremely happy because the flour, like people thought the world was going to end, right? Just for a bit of background context. So they thought, oh, we need to bake our own bread. We need to get off the grid. It's the end of the world, right? Anyway, you can make of that what you will. But greenhouses from B&M, gardening supplies, anything outdoor, because the weather, like I say, it was so hot. It was so nice. Like everyone was just in the garden. And then due to the weather, obviously May rolls around, the sun comes out even more. And this part of the story really is where everything changed, like drastically. So I go to a Tesco store, just a little bit out of town, just doing a regular sourcing run. I think it was a Sunday, and there was a few more UK guys that had joined the group by this point, and there was rumors circulating that inflatable hot tubs were doing really, really well. Now, these were lazy spa hot tubs. So lazy spa, spelt like that, it's still a thing now. And I actually came across one of these, about 6 of them in B&M the other week. And it was still like £100 profit on them. So I'm going to put that video on the screen now just so you can see that. But at the time, no one could leave the country. No one could go on holiday. Everyone wanted to sit in their garden. The weather was nice, drink a few beers. It was a booming industry at the time. And hot tubs, they were very elusive, right? Very rare. You were lucky to find one. So there I am, Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Tesco closes at 4, and I see one just sat there. Now, this wasn't actually a lazy spa, as I remember. It was a clever spa. It was the other brand. It was smaller, a little bit cheaper, easier to carry, and it was round about this price range, like 250 to 297, somewhere like that. So I look in the Telegram chat. People are reporting like 100 to £300 profit per unit. And I thought to myself, yeah, like we need to grab that immediately because obviously I've been doing well so far. I think I must have made like £1,000 up to this point. But yeah, this was like the biggest investment up to this point so far. So it was the single biggest purchase on a piece of stock. And obviously, I had the receipt, I could bring it back. But when I was 20 years old, making a purchase like that, like it wasn't for myself to try and make money. Like, sure, it's a bit of a risk. And like I say, I'd been used to these like £5 products, maybe £20 maximum for like a greenhouse from B&M. So you're basically 10xing the price, but you're also gonna 10x the profit, right? So sure, like it's a little bit of a risk, but not really. It gets you out your comfort zone. Yeah, so dropping a few hundred on this from the profits that I already made. And I always put the profits back in. So I remember I lumbered this big box to the checkout and paid with my Monzo card. I remember the distinct like cha-ching noise that the Monzo made, or the opposite noise when you spend money. And I watched the money go down. There was a little knot in my stomach at the time. But either way, I walked out excited, drove home, and I think my mum was out at the time. I told my dad and my brother, and I did look a little bit fucking nuts, to be honest, dragging this big box upstairs, and they're asking me, "What are you going to do with that? Like, you're going to put it in the garden?" I said, "No, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it like everything else, and we're going to try and make some money." So I had this small little stock room in the corner of my room, like a mini warehouse where all my products would sit. I had like a holding area, a wrapping area, a label printer. It was an efficient little system, like it was good. So anyway, I get back, I take some pictures, and I list the hot tub on the same day that I bought it, within the hour of purchasing. And I'm not joking when I say the next day, someone messages me on eBay, "Is it available? Can I come pick it up?" And obviously I tell him, "Yeah, sure." So he drives down from a few hours away, lumber it back downstairs. And again, I don't know why I took it upstairs in the first place because it was quite heavy, probably 20 kilos or so. It's just this big cumbersome box, like just annoying to move. So anyway, I help him put it in the car, all sealed, check it over, make sure he's happy, and he gives me £600 in cash, literally on the spot, and that was that. So I basically doubled my money on the spot. There was no fees because it was cash. There was no shipping. It was the best business model, and like I say, I doubled my money there and then. And I remember I ran into my brother's room and I told him what I'd done. I was completely mind blown, and I knew in my gut this genuinely was the start of something big, and things were going to change quite fast. And I was absolutely correct. My intuition was not wrong there. I mean, it would have been quite hard to be wrong, knowing that you've just doubled your money within 18 hours, right? At 20 years old. So from that point, I went all in on hot tubs, solely focused on big ticket items. So hot tubs, swimming pools, every B&Q, every B&M, anywhere that was selling them, I was in there dropping £300 at a time, and I would just squeeze as many as I possibly could into the car. So I took the back seats out. I could fit in like three or four. It was a very small car, but I made it work. It was very efficient. I'd be up at 6 a.m. every single day on the phone to the store, and I'd have a map of which ones to actually hit along the way. So I would go every single day, 7 days a week. So I was going up and down, like all the way, like an hour or two away to source these things. The windows down, music blasting. It was a great time. Like if you remember how hot it was in the summer of 2020, you'll know exactly what I mean. It was such a good time, the most fun I've ever had in business, and it was way better than just sitting indoors at some job in an office. Like, yeah, that was not going to be reality anymore. So they would literally sell the same day every single time, and I was making between 300 and £1,000 every single day just from hot tubs. And again, I'm going to put the Twitter thread on the side, and I'll just scroll down so you can kind of read that at the same time. I actually got banned from one of the B&Q stores. So I had to go back and try again. It was limited to one per person. So I went back the same day after purchasing one, and then they told me it was one per person. So that's when I left. I tried to get back in. I went home, changed my clothes, put a hat on, put sunglasses on, and I tried to get back in to try and source another one because they were just so valuable. And I remember one of the days, me and my friend, we had a van. We either rented one or his friend had one, and we sourced 12 in a day. Put them all in the living room at my mum's house because I was still living there at the time. She wasn't the happiest, but then they moved literally within about 3 days. Like it was ridiculous. These things were moving extremely fast. And then it happened like very quickly. I made my first 10K. So I'd never had much more than like 3 or 4 grand in the bank at the time. And I just turned 21 in May. And then I had like just over 10K. So it was cool. So I thought we should probably move. Like, obviously, I can't just keep storing products in this house. I've got my money. I may as well get out of here and yeah, do something on my own. So I went to these property rental viewings with my mum, and I remember the first one that we went to, fell in love with it. Like we both agreed this was definitely the one. Nice 1 bedroom detached house, had a garage, so I could put all the hot tubs in there, and that was it. So I moved out within 2 or 3 months. I think I moved like mid-June. So you got to think from lockdown in March all the way to June, so like 3 or 4 months. Like this all happened in like a very compressed time frame. But it just goes to show, like when you really commit to it, you can actually do a lot. So it was great. It was a good time. So then, as soon as I moved in, quit my job. I actually got fired, but I can't blame them. I had to do something. I had to take action. Obviously, I couldn't sit in that office and be miserable with no hope for the future. Bit of an awkward conversation with the boss, but oh well. I had to make my own way, and since then, it's always been that way. So why am I telling you this? This is the reason Scott and I built Scan Junkie. Because looking back at my younger self, if I had something like this at the time, and I've said this before, it would have helped me tremendously. So just being able to scan a product and see at a quick glance how much it's going for, like no more filtering completed listings and guessing, no more relying on word of mouth from people on another continent. Like it was great, don't get me wrong. But if I had something like Scan Junkie where I could just scan the barcode or take a picture and get an idea of what it's selling for, it would have saved so much time and I probably would have made even more money at the time. So this is really why we made this because we both started. I didn't even know Scott at the time. Like we only became friends about a year ago, which is insane. And we'll do some more real life content with us too, so you can get to know us more as we go. Because I think that's quite important. Like if you're gonna like buy into our brand, then obviously I want you to know who we are as people, what our backgrounds are, but funnily enough, we were both doing the same business. We both started with eBay dropshipping. He had more success with it with it than I did. Um, I went down the retail arbitrage route, and then he went into like the mass sourcing. So he's ended up with the warehouse. He did really well. I went into something else at the time, and then I've kind of come back into it now. But yeah, he really hit it hard and went all in with it. But that's why we created this app, just to help the younger versions of ourselves. So what do you get when you join Scan Junkie? You get a free community, similar to what I joined back then. It's completely free. There's members in there every day, dropping what they're sourcing and from what shop. It's majority UK based right now. So it's the opposite of what I had, but it would be great to get some US guys in there or from wherever. Like Scan Junkie works in all countries. It's a free 30-day trial. There's no excuse really to try and replicate what I pulled off 6 years ago. You can check our TikTok, our YouTube, our shorts. Like the opportunity is all out there. So you can see, like, we find products all of the time. So, sure, when I was doing it 6 years ago, it was a bit of a bubble with the hot tubs because it was lockdown. Like, it was a niche market. But you can see, like, we evidence this on a daily basis with our content. We find products all the time that make a lot of money. Now, sure, you're going to get guys in the comments saying this doesn't work or, wow, you only made £2 profit. And they're going to sit there all day and say it doesn't work, but if you're those kind of skeptical people and closed minded and you don't actually put your mind to something and commit, of course you're going to be skeptical. I was skeptical at first too. Like when I bought that first hot tub, I thought, oh, maybe I've wasted 250, £300. And it was a lot of money for me at the time. Even when I first got like the cleaning supplies, I was a bit hesitant because I thought, okay, what if I just have these and they don't sell, and I'm sat there with a bunch of dish soap and cleaning spray? Like, what's the point, you know? But it all comes down to your mindset. If you're going to sit there and be a skeptic and think, oh, it doesn't work, when deep down, really, you know that there's people out there making money, but you just don't want to put the effort in, then that's fine. You can remain doing that forever. Those people are always going to exist. That's fine. You know, there's a place for everyone. Pay them no attention. If you are one of those people, I hope you do expand your mind and try something. You know, even if it's not this, just try something. Like try and make some money somehow, because you might as well, or not if you don't want to. But my point is, if you're going to sit there and just say all these negative things, then yeah, sure, you're going to remain in that negative bubble. And sure, some products only make £2 profit, but it's a volume game. If you can find 50 of them, then well, you're making £100 profit, which is the same as one of those hot tubs, or a little bit less. So you get the idea. So yeah, again, naysayers will always be there. These are the people that sit there at home after a long day at work and they don't change anything. And again, it's fine. Let them do that. But if you are watching this and it does inspire you, please, like I urge you to try it. It doesn't matter how old you are. We've got guys in the group from 20 years old all the way to their late 50s, right? People that want to retire soon and they're doing this as their full-time thing. It's great. I was on a call with one of the guys from the group the other week, and he's really committed to making this like his full-time thing after he retires in like 3 years. So the opportunity is there. Like he wouldn't be that committed to it if it wasn't possible, right? There's money out there for everyone. So here's the challenge I've got for you. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get an absolute god tier run like I did with the hot tubs. That was a bubble, but you can get consistent returns. You can make this into a long-term business, right? So even with the hot tub thing in mind, like I said, I did find one the other week. So you could go right now. Again, I'm either going to put the video at this point or earlier in the video, but you can see they're still out there right now. Like there's these big high ticket items. Just apologies for how I look at the time. I was sick a couple weeks ago. Okay, so we're here in B&M and we've just found this Lazy Spa Miami 4-person hot tub. And if we come and scan it with the scanjunkie.com app, like this, get that barcode in there. So we scan it, and if we have a look here, so we put a cost price £275, as it says there. But if we scroll down, don't worry about this. This is where you have to do your research, because it's the spare parts that are going for £12.99. But there's been 6 sold for £379. So you're making £100 profit. If you did that as an in-person collection, that's easy cash, easy sell. Get down to B&M, scanjunkie.com. But anyway, I'm going to challenge you. Download the app, get out there, make just your first £100 profit. See what you can find. Like, you can copy us. You can copy everything we do. So we put it in the Discord, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. You can copy us. Go and source the items for yourself. Make an eBay account and start making money. So you could even put them on Facebook Marketplace. I did that back in the day as well. And it works tremendously. So again, as much as people do like to be negative, especially in the UK, like I don't know exactly what it is. They call it tall poppy syndrome. People start doing well. Others seem to get very skeptical here. It's just the culture. Like in America, it's very much geared towards hustling and making something of yourself. That's probably why they're way ahead of us economically and our country's failing. Anyway, it's a whole different discussion, but it's very strange. So I do feel like it is shifting with the younger generation, but a lot of people my age and older, they're very skeptical, right? So don't be one of those people, because you're only going to create a hindrance for yourself and you'll just avoid opportunity. So get out there, start scanning, scanjunkie.com. I made this video to tell you my story, right? This is the reason we created this entire thing. So you've got nothing to lose. It's 30 days for free, free community. You can stay in the community after your trial ends. I don't care. I'd rather you stay in, get motivated, and join back up. Join with a different email, make 10 emails, get 10 free trials. I don't care. I would rather see you guys do well. I'd rather see you join the community, use the app, and actually make something for yourself. Make a little bit of money. Like get out of your job, hit your goals. Even if you don't want to leave your job, that's fine. If you just want to make an extra bit of money to, I don't know, feed your kids or take your girlfriend out, like it's a nice thing to do. And it's fun and it's a good community. We're all in there, we're having a good time. So as long as you just try it, and make some money, then I'm sure you won't want to leave anyway. That's how much I believe in this product. As someone that wanted this product back in the day when I was just 20 years old. So honestly, if you do commit to this for 30 days, you're going to make money and you're going to have a good time getting to know the people in the community. And it could change your life, you know? Like I just said, it depends what you want. Like it could be £500, 1,000 a month, or you could hit it hard like I did, make a quick 10K and move out and then make some more, or hit it like Scott did, and you could end up with a warehouse full of stock, making hundreds of thousands of pounds a month. It's up to you, completely up to you. So you can use this as a tool to assist you on your journey, really. So maybe you're even further ahead than we are, who knows? But either way, please feel free to use it. Go ahead and download it. You can sign up. It's on the Google Play Store. It's coming to the Apple iOS store very soon. And you can also do it on the web app as well. Scanjunkie.com. You can follow us on X, join the Discord, and you can drop me a message on any of the regular social channels. Probably the best way is on Discord. If you message me directly on there, you can find me in the community, or on Twitter at Scanjunkie. It's exactly the same as our YouTube. So any questions, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about this style of video as well. I've got plenty more stories, like specific stories that I can dive into, from when I was doing the hot tubs and anything like that. I'm going to sit down with Scott. We're going to interview him as well because he's got some really, really interesting stories. And yeah, obviously he's got the warehouse. So there's a lot of good content to be made there. So any feedback would be welcome. But again, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. I know it's been a long one. I hope you enjoyed the story and I hope you take advantage of the app, get out there and make some money. Thanks, guys. We'll speak soon.